Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water and let go. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Ride with the flow. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. It's alright. Let go. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Ride. We enjoy the ride. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. It's alright. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Ride. Drop your oars in the water. Enjoy the fly and enjoy the ride.
I love with the heart of God within me. I sing with the voice of God within me. I rest in the peace of God within me. Everything, everything praises God within me. I know with the might of God within me. I pray with the faith of God within me. I trust in the power of God within me. Everything, everything praises God within me. I am a safe and loving place, born of beauty and amazing grace. I laugh with the joy of God within me. I shine with the light of God within me. I am who I am 'cause of God within me. Everything, everything praises God. Everything, everything praises God. Everything, everything praises God within me. Praises God. Everything, everything praises God. Everything, everything praises God. Everything, everything praises God within me. Within me.
secret of this life we live. You and I, our struggles disappear. The more we get, the more it is we give. Yeah, let things keep getting better now. Let things keep getting better now. If life is a mirror reflecting back somehow, let things keep getting better now. You and I, we know this time is always a chance for us to change our mind. Anything at all we want to feel is waiting for us just to make it real. Yeah, let things keep getting better now. Let things keep getting better now. If life is a mirror reflecting back somehow, let things keep getting better now. Don't let your mind get in the way. Just let your heart open a secret of this life we live. Yeah, let things keep getting better now. Let things keep getting better now. If life is a mirror reflecting back somehow, let things keep getting better. Things keep getting better. Things keep getting better now.
Well, good morning. It's my great privilege to warmly welcome you here this morning, whether you're physically present with us here in the sanctuary or with us online. For those of you here in the center, I trust that you have already experienced the warm and loving welcome here in this place. For those of you connected through the magic of the internet, know that that warm and loving spirit very much extends to you as well. My name is Ken McClellan. It's my honor to greet you and to get things started this morning. Here at Unity of Bellevue, it's our mission to awaken people to their spiritual nature and to transform the world. Your active support and participation are important elements of bringing these about. In so doing, we offer a practical and progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus, the power of prayer, and the principles of the omnipresence of God, the divinity of mankind, the power of mind action, practicing this presence through prayer and meditation, and living our truth every day. In particular, we hold as truth that every one of us has within our being the essence of the divine, and that essence connects us always to Source and always to each other. And we behold that Christ Spirit present in you. In that knowing, we honor and respect the many names of God, the many and diverse paths to God, and the many ways to worship God. So, if you're here in person, I hope you already know and feel how much you are loved and appreciated here. If you're watching online today or at any time or for any reason, you too are most welcome and appreciated here. Whatever the color of your skin, your race, or national origin, you are welcome and appreciated here. Whatever your gender identity, or sexual orientation, you are welcome and appreciated here. And whatever your religious or spiritual history or path, you too are welcome and appreciated here. Wherever you are or are from, know that today you are exactly where you are supposed to be, right here, right now. And we are truly delighted to have you. We are blessed by your presence, and we celebrate our inherent oneness. Especially today, as we celebrate this 3-day Memorial Weekend, I would be remiss if I did not remind you that it is our free will, given to us by divine nature, that allows us to worship, connect, and live our lives as so guided by these principles. Unfortunately, over the years, living in this human experience, it has sometimes become necessary to rise up to defend these human rights. This weekend is not just about family campouts, picnics, parades, and times of relaxation, but also about reflecting on and expressing our gratitude for those whose sacrifices have made this all possible. We owe them so very much, and we thank God for each and every one of them. Today, we're pleased to feature our own transitional minister, the Reverend Denese Schellink. Today's talk is intriguingly entitled, Fear, It's Nothing to Be Afraid of, and I'm most anxious to hear this one. Our music this morning features someone who's become well-known, well-loved, a frequent visitor to Unity of Bellevue, Cindy Akana. I welcome Cindy back. We're so good to see you again, and we're truly blessed to have you here. The rest of our team this morning, the meditation facilitator who facilitated our meditation before the service is Cindy Brightbill. Cindy will also be our prayer chaplain today. Our board host is Paul Roof. Our song leader is our own and wonderful Jamie Sassy. And with that, let's get the celebration started with our community song with Jamie and Cindy.
Good morning, everybody. Please stand as you're able and join me. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source.
God is my source.
God is my power.
God is my power.
God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks.
I give thanks
for all my blessings.
For all my blessings.
God gives me everything I need. Love is my source.
Love is my source.
Love is my power.
Love is my power.
Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks.
I give thanks
For all my blessings.
For all my blessings.
Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source.
Joy is my source.
Joy is my power.
Joy is my power.
Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks.
I give thanks
For all my blessings.
For all my blessings.
Joy gives me everything I need. How about some peace? Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Back to God. God is my source.
God is my source.
God is my power.
God is my power.
God gives me
everything I need.
So I give thanks.
So I give thanks
For all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source,
God is my source.
God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give
So
thanks
I give thanks
for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
On? There it is. She came alive. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Jamie. Good morning. Grateful to see you and all those online that are joining us and all those that are camping this weekend and watching it later. So let's just settle into a moment of prayer. Giving thanks for all our blessings. God is the source of all of our good. And so we are reminded of these beautiful truths every time we gather together in your name, God. So we feel the energy of you here with us, that you are in us, around us, and expressing through us. And we allow that energy to come out as love and peace and joy and an energy of celebration. Celebrating our oneness and unification of life. And so we give thanks for all those who arrive early and prepare this space through connecting to you and creating that energy field as we walk into it. We feel your light and your love and your joy and your wisdom through our word, through our song, through our connection, and we see the Christ presence in one another. So I give thanks for all these blessings. God is all I need. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. All right.
I'm going to invite you to sing along.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think we can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Repeat that part.
It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Thank you, thank you. What a great song this morning as we move on towards summertime. The reading this morning, we're going to cheat a little bit and jump forward to tomorrow's from the Daily Word, because tomorrow is Memorial Day. And the reading is called, I Honor the Sacrifice of Those Who Served. Although they have passed from their earthly life, the men and women who gave their lives in service to our countries humble me and fills me with thoughts of honor and of gratitude. My memorial observation may involve taking time in prayer to bless and to remember them. Perhaps the most important way I can express my appreciation for their sacrifice is to renew my commitment to creating a world where all people can live in peace. In my thoughts and through my words and actions, I hold to the truth that all people are living expressions of God. I am not discouraged if I don't see immediate evidence of my conviction. The memory of those I honor today strengthens me and gives me hope for the future. And the scripture is from Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us run with perseverance and race that is set before us. So if you would join me with our statement of faith, to stand if you are able, with our statement of faith and our affirmation. First, our statement of faith, and this is for those of you online too. This includes you, out loud. There is one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. And for our affirmation for today, I focus my awareness on the guiding light of Christ within. In faith and trust, I release all fear, I rest in God, and I am never alone. And so it is.
Every anxious thought that steals my breath, every heavy weight upon my chest, as I lie awake and wonder what the future will hold, help me to remember that you're in control. You're my courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength 'cause I'm not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord. I will fear no more. I will lift my eyes. I will lift my cares. Lay them in your hands and I will leave them there. When the wind and waves are coming, you shelter me. Even though I'm in the storm is not in me. You're my courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength when I'm not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord. I will fear no more. Whoa, I will fear no more. Whoa, I will fear no more. No power can come against me, 'cause you have overcome. No darkness can overwhelm me, 'cause you've already won. No power can come against me, 'cause you have overcome. No power can overcome me, 'cause you've already won. You're the courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength, 'cause I'm not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord. I will fear no more. Whoa, 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 I will fear no more. Whoa, 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 I will fear no more. Whoa, 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 I will fear no more.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Beautiful. Is that one of yours?
It is not. It's
what?
by the Afters.
Afters. Beautiful. Loved it. Love your voice. Thank you. I will fear no more. You are greater than the battle in my mind. End of sermon. Because we're going to talk about that mind. Good morning. I can't give it all away in the first 30 seconds. We got to work up to it. Well, I also want to thank Howard and Kaveen up there in our sound booth. Thank you so much. These beautiful souls that are making sure that everyone can hear and see and experience this Sunday message. So not only we have this here today, but it's recorded so we can go back and listen to it. And what a beautiful thing. So thank you. And you know what's wonderful is that is also fulfilling our mission of transforming lives and awakening the world, right? Because it's transmitting those great teachings far beyond these walls. And that's what this electronic world has done, is that we've moved beyond these walls so we can celebrate that growth. So today is week 2 of what's in the way is the way. It's a challenging idea. Even this God? Even this experience? Yes. So I say to you quite often that, whatever is before me is for me. And that's this consciousness of moving into no one and nothing is against me. But also, there's one presence and one power, God the good, omnipotent, omniscient, all present, all loving. And if that's all true, and that this presence is wanting for my good, then how can I use whatever is before me to glorify God? Yes? Yes? Yeah. But I'm not saying that that's an easy thing to do. But that's our work. So today's talk is called Fear. It's nothing to be afraid of. Don't you love it? And so last week we talked about, introduced you to the concept of the meadow. And we did a nice, lovely, long meditation about what the meadow is. It's a field of peace and well-being. And sometimes we wander outside that meadow, right? Into the darkness, into the cave. And this meadow is about flow. The meadow is about spaciousness. It's about love and light and stillness. And so regardless of what's happening in our outer world, this state of peace that we're referring to, eternally present. But if our life is not really one of experiencing that peace, that flow of life, it's a matter of opening up to seeing it, opening up to allowing it. That if it's not there, then there's something in the way. So one of the great teachings out of Eye of the Storm is remembering as we're in the world experiencing life, am I am I the way of God, or am I in the way of God? Right? So if I'm the way of God, then I'm in flow, I'm in spaciousness, I'm in love, I'm in light, I'm in joy. And if I'm in the way of God, I'm probably the opposite of that, right? That I might feel stuck or afraid or dark or hatred or animosity or resentment. So these beautiful feelings can sort of share with us what's going on in our world. And so the author, Mary O'Malley, and I hope she's a local person, as some of you know, to have her connected with us again during this series. And so we're in conversation about that. But when there's something getting in the way, something covering up this meadow idea, this connection with Source, that it usually refers to what the author calls the storyteller is active. The storyteller is the mind in the head. And that's Michael Singer called it the voice in the head, right? And so many teachers have different names for it, but Mary O'Malley calls it the storyteller. And this storyteller is just narrating for us and giving meaning to life as we see it. And that's what Michael Singer from the Untethered Soul used it as the voice in the head. And it drowns out our reality that keeps us connected to this meadow experience, this connection with Source. And so our work is to become compassionately curious, Mary O'Malley says. Become compassionately curious about when we're outside this meadow experience, outside the sense of being connected to Source, outside knowing that we have all that we need. And so I love that term, compassionately curious. It meets my need for compassion and curious. It puts those two together, which really creates a loving experience. But in order to shift our perception to one of observing, which is what we're wanting to do, become the observer to life, rather being lost in the story, it's helpful to understand what fuels the storyteller. You know, what's behind the storyteller's story. What triggers the spinning cycle? Have you ever talked with somebody who's just spinning in a story? Yeah, and it's just like, you know, I had this one colleague, she was one of our administrators, and she was just talking and talking and talking incessantly. She could see the look on my face. She says, "Oh my God, I'm talking and I can't shut up." That's the ego, right? Someone has said there's an acronym, ego, edging God out, right? Edging God out. The ego is really believing it is Source energy, really believing it's the one. So the answer to the question of how to stop the spin cycle is to look at the word fear. So today that's what we're going to look at. The talk title is Fear. It's really nothing to be afraid of or worried about. You're not smiling, okay. Well, because just the word itself creates fear, doesn't it? It's just like, I know in the middle of the night I wake up and I many times are just in a fearful place. I have no idea why. It must be some dreams I'm having, and I'm a pretty peaceful person, and so it's sort of our go-to place. You know, we have been conditioned to be fearful, right? We have been conditioned to be weary, and so what we want to know is nothing to be afraid of. Fear is often behind the storyteller's interpretation. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So fear, we've heard it described as FEAR, the false evidence appearing real. And that's the fear we're talking about today. I am not talking about the 1% where there's a fire, or there's a tornado, or there's someone with a gun, or, those moments when, yes, you should be afraid, right? That's 1% of the time to really utilize this mechanism in the brain, the amygdala, to react very, very quickly to something's going to harm us. But the rest of the time, this overactive brain is on massive alert, And if we don't examine what this brain is focusing on, then it can begin to sort of run the show. And I find that idea of false evidence appearing real to really be accurate when it comes to the storyteller or the mind, the voice in the head. And there's also another acronym that my colleague and friend, Dr. Jane Simmons, says, FEAR, forget everything and run. I love that. That's really what the ego wants, is trying to tell you, is get the heck out of here. Whatever is going on, I don't want any part of it. And I want you to start running right now. So fear causes us to contract rather than expand. And again, I'm not talking about that 1% of the time when you really need to protect yourself and find safety. I'm talking about the times that we're interpreting what life means. And so there's times when you pay attention, and someone said, you don't run into a house on fire, and you don't take selfies next to the Grand Canyon. You might fall in. So fear can be a very wise signal, and so we're not talking about that fear. But the problem is that this warning system in the brain sort of flips the switch on it, just about any situation. And I don't know about you, but there's a common fear that we all have, we're born with, thank goodness, the fear of falling. How many of you have the fear of falling? Almost all of us. And so I have learned I want to face my fears, right? And I don't mean jumping out a cliff without any protection. I'm talking about very safely jumping, right? So I have zip-lined. I have done the ropes course, and I do not like to fall. But I wanted to teach my higher self that I'm protecting you. I'm doing all these things to protect you. But it's still amazing what happens, that zip line. Anybody else done a zip line in Costa Rica, Mexico? Yeah. So you go through these high forests, and you're on this line, you're harnessed in. You cannot separate from this, right? There's a 99.9% safety factor, right? But you're high up in the forest canopy, and you're going at pretty quick pace through this forest, and you go from platform to platform. So you don't go for miles and miles. You stop and rest and stop the momentum. But I'll tell you what, that fear took over, and I was not having a good time. The scream coming out of my mouth was not joy. But after about halfway through, there was like 20 platforms. It was a pretty long one. I finally relaxed. And the joy came bubbling up. And then it was so amazing. And then it was like laughter was floating out of me, right? Because I had surrendered and relaxed. One of the things I love to think about is relaxing the ego grip. And what they give you when you're ziplining is this little mitt that you could hold on to the cord, which is not good, but you have this very heavy leather grip. So you could actually slow yourself down if you want to, because there's no brake on this thing. That's your brake, right? And so I found myself doing that, holding on to the cord and slowing down, and I did it so much on one that I stopped halfway. Yeah, and I'm like, well, how do I get to the other side? So I'm scooting, right? And I wasn't laughing then either. But it's so fun to look back at what the ego does to protect itself. And it was such a lesson for me to know that I had fully, protected myself, put myself in, all these wonderful men were around me, supporting me and wanting me to do this and making sure I was harnessed. And there was so many safety nets on it. But it wasn't until I finally relaxed the ego mind that I was able to enjoy the ride. And so that's one of the things of looking at when we're at a state of fear, is inquiring into what's going on inside. What's happening here? And I did the same thing with the ropes course. I was so blessed to teach a rite of passage program for young teens, and we did the ropes course. And I was up on this 40-foot log, walking across it, tethered again, but my knees were knocking and I would freeze. And these beautiful children, 11 to 14, would just shout out these wonderful affirmations to me. You're okay, Reverend Denese. You can do this. It's all right. Take your time. It was so precious. They really knew what to say to support another human on this journey. And that's what you and I can do for one another when we notice that someone's experiencing fear, even if it's false evidence appearing real. Yes? That regardless of if it's true or not, that's the experience they're having. And just to say, you shouldn't be afraid. Everything's fine. It's not in here, right? So we do need to move into trusting and move out of this idea of being suspicious, or I can't trust, or I'm not safe. There's a story in one of the books that we've been reading together about a minister who thinks that his board is trying to get rid of him. And he sees all this little evidence, of it. They're having secret meetings and talking about him. They went through his office one day. And then, the board president says, we want to talk to you. And he's like, oh, I knew it. I'm going to be fired. We'd like to talk to you after the service. So he does the service, he's speaking, and the whole time he's sort of in this place of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And the board meets him in his office, and he's sort of in a position and has his defense all ready to go, that he's been there a long time, and the people here love him, and he's doing a good job. And they say, well, we'd like you to sit down. We have something we want to discuss with you. So he hesitates, and they start to speak, and they say, we know that you're getting close to retirement, and we want you to know how much we appreciate you. So the whole church has come together to buy you a home for your retirement. And he just sort of lost it, right? And so there he was, being suspicious and not trusting others, when all along God was in it, right? So we really want to be mindful of and examine the thoughts that we're having. Take a look at what's running the show. And we want to be able to face our fears. We don't want to be running from the fear. And so part of that is sort of facing it, you know. There was a book out, Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Right? So I know in public speaking, most people would not want to do that, right? I didn't really want to. I was called to ministry, and that was sort of part of it. And so even today, I have a little fear, you know, of coming up here and speaking to you, and I still have that in the pit of my stomach, right? And it's sort of like the butterflies, we call it. And so they don't go away. I just ask them to fly in formation. So I'm able to stand and, you know, present and be with you. Because it's not about me. We still think it's about us. It's about God wanting to express through us whatever we're doing, or whether we're doing this or singing or praying with someone or just holding someone's hand. It's not about us. It's about allowing something greater to be expressed through us. Yes? Yes. So when we know that, we can let go of being afraid. It doesn't go completely away. I went to ministerial school. My husband and I went together, and we had been in a ministry for a few years and both got the calling, but I hadn't quite gone all the way in to become a minister. I had also a 9-month-old baby when we went off to ministerial school, addition to my 10-year-old. So I had a lot of responsibility, you know, still to do. But what I did know is I wanted to learn how to pray out loud. So I said that to the world, the universe. I'd really like to learn how to pray out loud. If I'm going to be part of ministry, I sort of need to do that. So be careful what you ask for, right? Because it becomes very evident. Well, within a few days, weeks, I'm not sure when it was, but it would seem like the next day, I got a call from Unity. I was at Unity Village, and one of the registrars called me and said, hey, we're doing a licensed teacher graduation next month, and I'd love for you to do the opening prayer. Me? Right? So she knows I was in the program, you know, becoming a teacher. And so I said, okay, all right, okay. Well, my mind started taking over, right, during this time period, and I'm practicing and wondering. And about a week before I'm supposed to do this, my whole vocal cords get tied up. And so I call Karen to tell her that I'm just not able, you know, to do it, and I'm so sorry. And she answers the phone, and I tell her who I am, and I'm not talking very loudly. And she says, oh, Denese, I'm so glad you called. We've got everything ready. We're so grateful you said yes to this, and this is what's going to be happening. This is the timing. She's just going into the whole thing, and you're going to be fine. Do not worry. So I said, will there be a microphone? And she said, absolutely. Do you have something in your voice? And I said, yeah, something's going on, but something in me said, but I'll be there. So I was. Now my voice never cleared up, but I got up, my knees were knocking, and I said in the microphone, I said, you know, in Unity, we see everything as an opportunity. And today I want to give you the opportunity to listen to the still small voice that's coming through me. Because it was a very small voice. But what I knew is I had to do it. That what was tangling up my voice was my ego. It wasn't me. It wasn't what I really came here to be. It was that person who thinks she's so important. It's that person who feels she's not worthy. Either side is not true, right? Someone who thinks they're too good and someone who thinks they're not good enough. Either of those are not the truth of me. The truth of me is I am a child of God, endowed with all these gifts and qualities that I will have all that I need, that whatever is before me is for me. To rise to that occasion, to move through the fear and trust that the Spirit is calling me higher. So some people see fear as a wall. Well, then this is telling me I shouldn't do this. But maybe not. Maybe it's the ego afraid of what might be on the other side. So we want to take a breath and know that our work here is not always easy or comfortable. Yes? Yeah. So sometimes we have to work through those fears and trust in something greater than ourselves. There's a story in the book on page 58 about the fear of a monster. And we all have had those as a child, most of us. And usually, hopefully, we had a loving parent who would support us and comfort us and show us that there is no monster. Let's go look, right? So we've learned to shine the light of truth on these thoughts that keep us from being who we've really come here to be. And in the book, she talks about, this monster was a recurring dream that this one person was having. And someone said, why don't you try just turning around and facing the monster in your dream? Oh, I couldn't do that. So finally one day she did, her subconscious came in and turned around. And she saw the monster. And the monster had pink nails, pink toes. Right? And there's a beautiful Taoist teaching about falling into the tiger's mouth. Thinking that this tiger is chasing us, something ferocious is after us. This is fear, right? Something is out to get us. Is to stop and allow the tiger to devour you. Because in that allowing, this imaginary idea of facing it, of looking at it, of allowing it to take over you, this you that you're speaking of is the one who's afraid. This you that we're talking about, we're eating away the false self, the one you're not. Burning away all that you are not so that you can be all that you are. Yes? Yes. So facing our fears is what brings the light of truth to that. Having that hard to have conversation, right? So you hear something from your partner or your boss, we need to talk. And we make up a story about what that means. And we put it off. We make up excuses. We make up stories. So part of us is leaning into compassionately curious. Become compassionately curious about what it means. It could be they're giving you a home to retire in. Right? Or this thing that's after you is sweet with pink fingernails. Right? Be courageous enough to examine the thoughts in your head. Look to see what the storyteller is telling you about the situation. Kindfulness and self-compassion can get us to a safe place where we can do that. Kindfulness, self-compassion can get us to a safe place. The Course in Miracles tells us if you knew who walked beside you on the path you've chosen, fear would be impossible. You are the loving presence. If you knew who walked beside you on this path, fear would be impossible. Yes? God is with us, omnipresent. That no matter what we are facing, God is here with us in it, inviting us into this meadow, into this place of the kingdom of heaven that Jesus talked about. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And it is a state of awareness, it is a state of consciousness that we all have access to each and every moment. This is the meadow. There is stillness and peace and love and harmony and light and joy. So I want to end with a quote from Rainer Maria Rilke, who says, "Perhaps everything that frightens us is, in its deepest sense, something helpless that wants our love. So you mustn't be frightened if the sadness rises in front of you, larger than you have ever seen. If an anxiety, like light and cloud shadows, move over your hands and over everything you do. Just imagine dealing with all of our fears in this way. That something wants us to bring more love to it, more light to it. So remember, fear can just be false evidence appearing real, or the ego, forget everything and run. So there's some questions in our booklet that we have. If you get a book, we have these booklets you can have, and has some great questions. What systems have you used to deal with psychological fear? Think about addictions or driven behavior and busyness and retail therapy. Get to know your unconscious coping strategies when they show up. Get to know your fear as well. What does that mean? I always ask, what does that mean? How do I do it? How do you get to know your fear? And how does compassion enter into healing this fear? So I invite you to get together, do a self-study, get into a spirit group so that you can go deeper with these teachings to find that truth in you that wants to illuminate the way. So let's move into a meditation. So close your outer eye and just allow this time to be one in which you are present right now. And we're remembering this beautiful meadow experience. We're living life as flow, as light, as spaciousness, as love, and stillness. And we know the universe is conspiring to support us in every moment. So use your breath right now to bring comfort to the body. Use your breath to sort of brush away any thoughts of fear or anxiety. Use the breath to bring awareness to any tightness in the body, any contraction in the mind. This beautiful breath is sent through the Holy Spirit to anoint you, to fill every cell of your being with light. So use this breath to fill the body temple with love, with ease, with comfort, with joy. And feeling this sense of trust that God is right with you, right here, right now, surrounding you with strength and courage and trust that whatever is before you is for you, and that you will be whatever tomorrow demands. Feel the spaciousness. Feel the love. Feel the flow of life flowing through you. That here and now you are safe, you are loved, you are guided, and you are protected through this loving God energy that only wants you to awaken to your Christ nature. You are the one to bring heaven to earth. You are the one to bring peace, to be compassionately curious and see how this world is supporting you. And so we thank you, precious Spirit, for these teachings, for this God awakening, for this moment, that there's nothing to be afraid of, and that you are not alone. And for that we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. And so we let it be. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. So last week, Paula's going to come up. Paula, come on up. She wasn't able to be here, and we had our new member dedication. So she emailed me, and she went through the classes we have, and just been with us a couple of months. Is that right, Paula? Yeah. I told her all she has to say is yes, so I'm only asking her yes and no questions, but welcome, Paula. So happy to have you here. So we hold in unity and in truth that it is in giving that we receive, and this idea translates into our level of involvement. And so we're asking our members to become loyal and become supportive and attend to their spiritual growth, attend to the ministry through prayer, and to find a way to serve. And Paula has agreed to that, yes? Yes, thank you, good. So we have a blessing for Paula. If you'll stand with me and just raise your hands with this blessing. I'm going to say it, and then you'll just repeat after me. We support you in this commitment. We bless you and honor you. We know who you really are. You are a beautiful child of God. We welcome you and accept you into the spiritual community. Welcome, Paula. Thank you. And this is a gift for you right here. This is Lessons in Truth and a few other wonderful books to get you on this beautiful path. And we're so blessed by your yes to Unity of Bellevue. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so now we're going to have another song by Cindy. Thank you.
Wrapped around her pillow, tears in her hands, a single mom with a dead-end job was never in her plans. And though the sun is shining through the window pane, a bitter dark from her tired heart is trying to block the rays. And she'll wonder how she'll make it, raising 3 kids alone. Feeling terrified, she sends out this prayer for hope. Faithfully, please stay with me and graciously give to me courage and strength to see this through. And faithfully I'll wait on you and change my doubt to gratitude. And one day I'll look back and see clearly how you stood by me. Faithfully. Walking home from high school, thoughts filled his head. What had he done as the oldest son to frighten off his dad? When his mom keeps crying night after night, he wants to say it'll end someday. I'm working to make it right, but he wonders how to make it, raising 2 kids and his mom. Feeling terrified, he sends out this prayer to God, saying faithfully, please stay with me and graciously give to me courage and strength to see this through. And faithfully I'll wait on you doubt to gratitude. And one day I'll look back and see clearly how you stood by me. Faithfully. Mother and son, both feeling stunned by the part they have to play to make it through each day. Burdens so huge, I have faced them too, so I fully understand when we help out where we can. One day they will say, faithfully you stayed with me, and graciously you've given me courage and strength to see this through. And faithfully you walked with me, you gave me hope and dignity, and now I can look back and see clearly how you stood by me. Faithfully.
Thank you, Cindy. That was a beautiful song, Faithfully. That's what we're all doing here, is being faithful, isn't it? All right. My name is Paul Roof, and I'm your board host today. And I want to welcome you if you're here for the first time. We are happy to see you here and hope that you'll fill in an information card that we can keep in touch with you and let you know all the wonderful events that are going on here at Unity of Bellevue. And thank you, Reverend Denise, for that wonderful, inspiring message. The book, if you've not gotten a copy of it, is really, really dynamic. And I've gotten to know that book and talking about the meadow and how we all, as children, were walking in the meadow. But as this through our adulthood is where we learn to get lost in the clouds of life. And so it's really been for me a good affirmation, a way to get reopened to my experience in the meadow. And thank you again for that message. And, she talks about in the book many different aspects. One of the things that you brought up there was about the whole idea of flow. And that's part of why I'm here, to talk about the flow that we have in our lives, our abundance that we have, and that we can share with our community here at Unity of Bellevue. And so I do remember the quote from Luke that says, "Give, and it shall be given back to you." And so that's what we're here to do at this time, is to give of our love offerings and our tithes. And the ushers will come forward here in a little bit. You can either put the love offering in the baskets that they're bringing around. There's a basket at the back, or you can go online. We have many ways that you can give to the Unity of Bellevue cause. Your giving does keep the flow going here at Unity of Bellevue. You know, the flow allows us to keep the lights on, to keep the building working, to pay for our staff, to pay for our minister, and to keep this going here at Unity of Bellevue. And it's very much appreciated that we have this offering from you guys. So if you'll join me in our offering pledge. Divine affirmation, the divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And the ushers will please come forward.
So let's take a moment to give thanks for these gifts. We just allow the infinite abundance of Spirit to flow through this ministry. We're so grateful for the generosity of hearts, knowing that as we give, we shall receive, that the abundance of the universe flows through us as we open, as we allow that flow to move through us. So these gifts we use to do your will and your work, God, to fulfill our mission and our evolutionary purpose, transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. So we're grateful for these offerings, and for each one here, we are blessed. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen and amen. Thank you. Monica.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue. My name is Monica McDowell-Elvig. I'm your center administrator, and we are so glad that you are here with us this morning. If you are visiting with us for the first time, we welcome you. We ask you to consider Unity of Bellevue your spiritual home as we walk together, as we transmute our fear into love and light and more trust. So if you are new, we have welcome packets for you as you exit the sanctuary doors to the left. You can pick one up. There's some free gifts for you. If you are visiting with us for the first time online, you can go to our website, unityofbellevue.org, and go to the I'm New page and click on the link and request a welcome packet there. We also ask you to fill out a connection card so we can reach out to you and let you know what's happening. The best way to stay in touch, though, is to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter, and you can do that on the bottom of every page on our website. The prayer chaplains are here to pray with you. If you have any prayer requests, you can fill out the prayer request cards in the seat back on our website or by the south entrance, and that's where you can place them in person. The prayer chaplain today is Cindy Brightbill. She will be leading a hybrid prayer circle after service in the library. The Zoom link is on our launch page on our website. Following service, we invite you to join us for food. We have a wonderful meal, chicken spaghetti with salad. It's also Jim Power's birthday, so we're celebrating him with a cake. And there's some Top Pot donuts as a thank you from our renters last week. So thank you for clearing the sanctuary last week. They were grateful, and they were grateful in donuts. So enjoy. We are doing a Reiki forum on Wednesday, June 7th at 6:30. If you are a Reiki practitioner, join me online for that. There's a Zoom link you can get from me. I think I sent it out, but we're just going to discuss all the ways that we're going to start using Reiki and get everybody onboarded so that we have a thorough process. So just put that on your calendar. We also have a free booklet, Spiritual Keys to Aging Well. You can pick one up on your way out. Of course, this doesn't apply to any of us. We're not aging at all, but you might know somebody that is. So feel free to pick one up for them. The book of the series is available in the bookstore and on our online bookshop, along with a study guide. That's free, that comes along with it. Our next hiking date is June 11th. After our meal, we'll carpool to a location nearby. Brian is going to lead us again. So if you'd like to join in on that hike, let me know. It's also Volunteer Appreciation Sunday. If you have provided any sacred service for the month of May, please stand so we can acknowledge you and give it gratitude. The board, greeters and ushers, landscape committee, everybody stand. Spirit group leaders, Jamie, the AV, everybody online, thank you so much. We know it takes all of us to keep this going, and we're so grateful that you do. So, big thank you to Reverend Denise for another wonderful message, helping us heal our fear. And Cindy Akana also, we just love her voice and her presence. Next week is week 3, The Healing Power of Curiosity, and Nicola Lindy will be our guest artist. So Jamie and Cindy are going to close us out with the peace song, followed by the prayer for protection.
Please stand. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin just that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed Memorial Day weekend.
You and I, we know a secret here, a secret of this life we live. You and I, our struggles disappear. The more we get, the more it is we give. Yeah, let things keep getting better now. Let things keep getting better now. If life is a mirror reflecting back somehow, let things keep getting better now. You and I, we know this time is always a chance for us to change our mind. Anything at all we want to feel is waiting for us just to make it real. Yeah, let things keep getting better now. Let things keep getting better now. If life is a mirror reflecting back somehow, let things keep getting better now. Don't let your mind get in the way. Just let your heart open You and I, we know a secret here, a secret of this life we live. Yeah, let things keep getting better now. Let things keep getting better now. If life is a mirror reflecting back some